manufacturer in the world, and with 16 Thor companies in northern Indiana, we have a spot for you on our starting lineup. Visit ThorIndustries.com.
Seriously, dude, this needs to end.
Hi, this is WSBT Sports Director in Pritchett, and December will mark my
out in home whites, maroon numbers with gray trim. Lakeland, black is the base. The numbers are black. The trim is red, and they have the Carolina blue, Columbia blue, whichever shade it happens to be, up around the shoulders as well as around the waist of their shorts. On the left wing, it's Donovan Snyder.
I was waiting for your description.
Yes. We need to get a picture of this. Sam Shively dribbles once, right hand, free throw line, over the elbow. Hoopengarner dribbles once, puts it up, and rattles it home.
Well, and I guess that's why Nate Hoopengarner starts the game out. He's offensive threat from down low. It was a great little spot up right there.
2-0, Mishawaka leads with the Kevin Putz of First Midwest Mortgage first quarter underway. From the outside, Bontrager puts up the three. Won't go. Big man inside. Had the rebound momentarily knocked away from him, and Shively ends up with it as Cole Miller had it but couldn't quite corral it. Grant Jablonski dribbles with the left hand to his left and passes off to Snyder. With Mishawaka on top 2-0 with just about a minute gone in the first quarter. Screened by Hoopengarner. Pull up from 15. The shot short by Snyder. And Bontrager with the rebound for Lakeland. Up court, he zips it to Miller. And they will pass it back outside. Poole passes over to his right. Bontrager feeds down low to Miller. Dribbles once with the left hand around Snyder into the lane. He'll put it up and in.
Well, a nice little power move there on the block by Miller. You don't see a lot of that these days, Sean.
So 2-2 as Miller ties the score. Mishawaka with the basketball. Over the right wing to Rosebush. Looking, dribbles with the left hand and outside to Jablonski, guarded tightly by Poole. Jablonski's scoring has slipped a little bit the last few games, but some other guys have helped pick it up. A miss by Hoopengarner, and the rebound to Bontrager. And Lakeland, or Bontrager rather, goes to the left around the screen, puts up the shot, won't go. The rebound to Rosebush. The score tied at 2. Sam Shively puts up a three, a little bit short, and Poole with the rebound for the Lakers. Still 2-2, just under 6 gone, and a turnover. The Kevin Putz of First Midwest Mortgage first quarter as Poole lost the handle. Shively there defensively as it goes out of bounds and into the Cavemen bench.
Well, really good defense there by Shively, too. He's able to get his arm in there and just kind of hold steady, and the Lakeland player didn't know what to do with the basketball and ended up going out of bounds, and Shively didn't even touch it.
Shively trying to bounce it down to Donovan Snyder, cutting from the left wing. It goes off his foot and out of bounds, and Lakeland takes over again. And again, remember, Mishawaka went on the road to John Glenn last night. Not a long trip, but still a road game, and took double overtime to pull out the victory in the NIC matchup. 2-2 as Lakeland brings it up court. Yoder. Bontrager down low. Poole is all alone, and he'll lay it up and in.
Miscommunication there by Mishawaka. Poole was able to come underneath that zone, and he was just wide open.
Shively stops at the right elbow, out to Snyder. Now Grant Jablonski back to Snyder again, who's picked up his scoring over the last couple of games with the left hand. Comes around a defender all the way down, scoops it up, won't go, and Hoopengarner over the back going for the rebound. It'll be the first foul of the game, assessed to Nick Hoopengarner. And again, Hoopengarner in the lineup, and it'll be interesting to see how this plays out with no Brayshawn White here tonight due to the family issue. Bontrager drives all the way, and he's going to be called for a charge.
Yeah, an interesting call there, too. I mean, he had a lot of momentum. He's a big kid, but Mishawaka player was able to get underneath, and he didn't have to move. He didn't slide underneath him. But
if this was college, that might have gone the other way with that, with the little arc that they have there, you know, on the floor in front of the rim.
Yeah.
Because Snyder was a little bit deep where that contact took place. But in any case, it goes Mishawaka's way. Cavemen trail 4-2, pull up at the free throw line, and Shively buries it.
Shively's shown a propensity to make that shot right there. Just kind of a little half drive, a pull up at the free throw line, and he's hit more of those than he's missed. So see if he goes back to that shot.
Tied at 4 in the Kevin Putz of First Midwest Mortgage first quarter. Shot doesn't go for Lakeland. Rosebush with the rebound. Taylor wanted a foul, didn't get it though. Mishawaka and Lakeland tied at 4 apiece. Shively standing on the Caveman logo on the floor on the far side with the left hand. Comes around and stops to the left of the lane. Out to Rosebush and Jablonski. Snyder deep on the wing where Shively was just a moment ago. Brings it outside and Poole gets out body to body on him. And Deshaun Poole will be whistled for the foul.
Yeah, that good call right there. Poole was able to get in the way of Grant and knock him off of his course. And that's a textbook blocking foul.
Score tied at 4 with 4 minutes and 10 seconds to play in the Kevin Putz of First Midwest Mortgage first quarter. Inbound goes to Shively in his backcourt. As Devon Parker goes to the scorer's table and gets set to check in. Rosebush sets a pick. Shively goes to the right one step, but then stops. Lob down low. Up fake by Rosebush, and he'll draw the foul as he tries to go back up.
It was a nice little inlet pass there, too, kind of up and over the defense to Rosebush, and it looked like he was going to have an easy shot, but he got fouled from behind.
And it's Braden Bontrager, their leading scorer at 16.4 a game. Now they have 2 up on the board. Is that what you have?
Yeah, he's got the offensive foul. And then
oh, that's right. I forgot about that one just a second ago. I didn't write that down. Rosebush misses the free throw. He was a perfect 6 out of 6 at the line last night. In the victory over Glenn, hit the final free throw at the end of the second overtime to seal the victory as Mishawaka walked out with a double overtime 6-point win. Next one up by Rosebush is good. His first point of the night. He scored 11 last night, coming off a 13-point effort the last time we saw him against Washington earlier this week. 5-4, Mishawaka leads. Poole at the top of the key. Looks left, comes into the lane with the left hand. Kicks it down to the corner. Three-pointer is good. Kalen Kent hits it. Pretty much all these guys are going to put up three-pointers. Shively drives left baseline, goes reverse, misses the shot, gets his own rebound, and then gets fouled, taking it back up.
It's a good follow by Shively. I mean, actually, it was a nice move trying to get the reverse layup to go. Just couldn't quite get it to crawl over the side of the rim, but able to get his own rebound and go up strong and head to the free throw line.
Colton Taylor is hit with the foul. His first. He'd been out a little bit and just getting back into the lineup for Lakeland. Shively sinks the first free throw to make it a 7-6 game with 3:29 to play in the Kevin Putz of First Midwest Mortgage first quarter. Hoopengarner sits down. Alex Boggs comes in. Those are pretty much the post options with no Brayshawn White tonight. Boggs hasn't played the last couple of games. Shively bends the knees. The free throw hits the lip, but it shoots up and drops down, and it ties the score at 7. Inbound is errant, but it is picked up by Taylor. He'll get it off to Poole. Down on the right block, and Shively smacks it back as he tried to pass back outside of the wing.
Well, Poole was double teamed down there underneath the basket, and he tried to bail himself out, and Shively able to get a hand on it and smack it out of bounds.
Raheem Brayton is in the game as well for Mishawaka. Brayton and Devon Parker. The inbound pass and an offensive foul by Cole Miller, who took it. Miller assessed his first personal. So their big man Miller picks up one, and their leading scorer Bontrager has 2.
Well, I guess the officials aren't used to seeing a good low post block move either, because, I don't know, it looked like a nice little drop step, and I guess he lowered his shoulder.
3:18 to play in the Kevin Putz of First Midwest Mortgage first quarter. We're tied at 7. Shively, guarded by Poole, passes back outside to Boggs. Rosebush hands it off to Brayton, who pivots and then passes up top to Boggs. And over the left wing, Parker goes behind his back, pulls up left side of the lane and knocks it down.
Sweet little move by Parker, able to use the dribble to get some distance between him and the defender, able to go up high for the jumper.
Whistle and a foul coming back the other way. Rosebush will be called for the foul. C.J. Fisher comes in as Rosebush sits down. Inbound comes to Yoder. Yoder passes down to the left corner to Kent. Back to Kent. Little head fake, puts his head down and dribbles into the lane. His shot misses, gets his own rebound, and his follow-up goes, plus a foul as well.
And they're going to call the foul on Shively.
Kalen Kent, who averages 7.7 points per game, makes it a 9-9 game. Chase Wriggling checks in with Kalen Kent at the free throw line. It spins off, and up to get the rebound is Devon Parker. We're tied at 9 with 2.5 to play in the Kevin Putz of First Midwest Mortgage first quarter. Free throw line jumper by Shively won't go, and Poole with the rebound for the Lakers. Up court, it goes to Yoder, and now Poole spins, drives the right side of the lane, and lays it in.
Yeah, nice little spin move at the top of the key for Poole, able to shed the defender. And when he did that, there was no help side defense, and he was able to go up clean.
Bounce pass and a cut down low. C.J. Fisher lays it in on the pass from Brayton.
Nice little backdoor there from Brayton to Fisher for the easy layup for number 10.
Fisher was 4 for 4 from the field en route to a season-high 10 points last night. On the left, the big man goes up, and Boggs will foul Wriggling.
So what you're saying is he hasn't missed in over a day.
That's pretty much it against Washington. He was actually 1 for 1 against Glenn. He was 4 for 4, and he hits his first shot attempt here tonight.
I mean, I'll just let the stats do the talking.
Chase Wriggling, who averages just 2.3 per game, to the foul line, puts it up, and it bounces off the rim twice and off to the floor. Into the game comes Colin Allishouse.
I wouldn't mind having Wriggling be my starting right tackle.
No. Second free throw hits the lip, and it drops through. Makes it 12-11. The Lakers lead by 1. Brayton to his left to Fisher, and now Grant Jablonski off a Fisher screen, up fake, Boggs, and a steal by Taylor. Taylor for Lakeland up in front of everybody. Now Boggs catches up with him and goes up and commits the foul.
Yeah, not a bad foul there, just because, I mean, he had a wide open look, you know, at the basket, probably going to come down with the layup. So you foul him and hoping he misses at least one of the free throws.
It'll be the second on Boggs, who had just come in as Hoopengarner picked up one earlier and then sat down to get a breather. Braden Yoder at the free throw line. Hits the first and has another one coming. Both of these teams played last night, and you can see they kind of look like they're trying to work out maybe a little lactic acid out of the legs or something.
I would agree with that completely.
Missed free throw, and C.J. Fisher is there to control the carom. 13-11. Mishawaka trails with 1:24 to play in the Kevin Putz First Midwest Mortgage first quarter. Fisher sets a screen. Shively goes off it to the right. Cut off on the baseline. Fisher, top of the key, drives the left, passes back outside to Jablonski. And over to Shively, deep on the right wing. Heading toward a minute to play in the Kevin Putz of First Midwest Mortgage first. Outside, Fisher passes high to Shively over a defender. Hoopengarner sets a screen as Shively comes left. Bounce pass inside, left hand, and Hoopengarner lays it in.
Well, and what the great part about that was Hoopengarner, before he got the basketball, he was able to really get good position, working the defender way down underneath the basket. So by the time Hoopengarner got the ball, it was an easy layup.
Poole in the right corner. We're tied at 13, the 5th tie of the first quarter, and a turnover as they tried to feed the post. Hoopengarner ended up with it. Now with 30 seconds to play in the Kevin Putz of First Midwest Mortgage first quarter, would expect the Cavemen to hold the ball and play for the last shot. Shively held for several seconds before dribbling and passing to Brayton on the right. Brayton comes back and stands on the big block M at center court. Over to the right, Shively as Ron Heklinski directs traffic from the sideline. Shively with the left hand, kicks it out to the wing. Jablonski's three is short. The rebound comes down to Kent. 3 seconds to go. Kent with a driving layup attempt that won't go. And that will be the end of the Kevin Putz of First Midwest Mortgage first quarter. At the end of one, we are tied 13-13, Mishawaka and Lakeland, and the Organ Donation Classic at Mishawaka High School. You're listening to Mishawaka Cavemen Basketball on WSBT.
Rossini's.
Rossini's.
Rossini's Pizza.
Yeah,
Just like the cavemen, Rossini.
Raheem Brayton, Grant Jablonski, Nick Hoopengarner, A.J. Rosebush, Donovan Snyder out there for Mishawaka. It is Cole Miller, Colton Taylor, Colin Ellishouse as Lakeland inbounds with a basketball. Taylor, he will hand it off to Ellishouse. Up top, Bontrager, their leading scorer, who has a couple of fouls. Hoopengarner dives to deny the entry pass, and a tie-up down on the floor, and it's going to be Mishawaka basketball. Good job by Hoopengarner sticking his nose and hand in there.
Yeah, no doubt, and he was about to fall to the floor with the ball, and he ended up just kind of tossing it away from himself so that he wouldn't be called for the travel, and they were able to tie it up and get the ball.
On the left wing, Rosebush with just 1 point so far tonight. Grant Jablonski scoreless. Out to Rosebush. Bontrager guards him closely. Back up top to Jablonski. Brayton on the right wing. Jablonski takes it and passes to Rosebush. Drives the left baseline with the right hand. He'll lay it in.
Yeah, what a nice drive there by Rosebush. Right down the sideline to get the layup. Really nice job.
Bontrager thought about a three, kicks it over instead to Miller, who misses a three. Rosebush clears the rebound. Mishawaka by 2 with the basketball. Over to the left wing, Jablonski, a hand in his face with a defender standing right there as Jablonski nearly lost the handle as Ellishouse guards him closely, and Brayton drives all the way, uses the glass, it won't go, and Bontrager with a Lakeland rebound. He is triple teamed back there and nearly loses it, but Miller comes back to help him.
Well, I like the pressure Mishawaka is applying in transition.
Now from the outside, the three-pointer is good.
That was a deep three-pointer there by Bontrager. You can see why he's the leading scorer. He is not afraid to take shots.
He has long range. He has nearly 50 three-pointers this season and 140 attempts. It gives Lakeland a 1-point lead. Jablonski bounces it off. Now he'll take a three from the right wing, and he'll knock it down.
Hey, hopefully that sparks Grant Jablonski back to the three-point assassin that he was at the beginning of the season.
A blocking foul as Bontrager drives to the basket. It'll be Raheem Brayton whistled, and Bontrager will get to shoot a couple of free throws.
It's kind of a generous decision there, don't you think, for him to be shooting there? Look like it was a drive.
Kind of thought so as well.
Didn't know if he was in the action of shooting. Continuation, I believe, is the official term, but I didn't see it.
He missed the first free throw. His three made it 18-16. As Bontrager misses both free throws and Rosebush takes the rebound. 18-16 Mishawaka. Rosebush will fake and then drive, and he'll draw a foul.
I thought that one might have gone, that could have gone another direction too, because it looked like the Lakeland defender which happened to be Miller, was in pretty good position right there. But as a Cape Man fan, you'll take it, and it'll send Rosebush to the line.
Rosebush does go to the line, and Grant Jablonski, prior to that three-pointer, he had missed 14 of his last 16 three-pointers. He's, as I mentioned, his scoring down a little bit, but obviously when you're the guy who's the one who's been the only scorer in double digits, the main guy who's the three-point threat, he's been drawing a lot closer attention these last few games as well defensively.
Well, at the beginning of the season, nobody knew who Grant Jablonski was. If you're putting together a scouting report against Mishawaka, and he was on fire at the beginning of the season, and people are going to see it, and they're going to change the way they defend him, and they've done a good job. But now he has to answer and needs to take advantage of the open shots.
Rosebush hit both free throws, and Mishawaka leads by 4 with 5:35 to play in the first half. Kent will pass it off to Yoder, drives into the lane. Yoder kicks it down to the left corner to Alice House. Back to Yoder once again. Out to Bontrager. Deep three from the wing, and he'll rattle this one home.
Well, he's obviously feeling it from that spot because he was actually a little closer than he was for his last three, but able to nail it from about 3 feet beyond the three-point line.
20-19 now. Mishawaka leading by just a point after the second three-point shot by Bontrager, and a steal by Poole. Poole with numbers, 3-on-1, dishes to Bontrager, who uses the window to lay it in.
Yeah, and a nice little pass there by Poole because he knew that he was going to get rejected or fouled if he went up with it, able to find the trailer, Bontrager, for the easy layup.
A 1-point Lakeland lead now as Poole gets out closely on Jablonski. Now Rosebush backs it out on the wing, and in between the circles it goes, and over to the left wing, Donovan Snyder. He'll put it on the floor with the left hand, out to Jablonski. Three is a little strong this time. Crashing for the rebound is Parker. Parker down to the left corner, called for traveling.
He tried that step back. I want to say 3, but it wasn't because he was just inside the line, but he tried that NBA step back, and they're not having it in high school.
That's right. Even though they gave the continuation over here.
Right,
but,
right.
Yeah,
good point.
He was smiling on that one. He knows that he did it. Poole with a long baseball pass to Kent, knocked around, and it ends up in the hands of Sam Shively, standing near the basket. Now Shively races to the front court. Shively thought about a dish, but instead he drives it all the way down and lays it in.
A nice little hesitation drive there too by Sam. Able to get the defender leaning one way and then able to drive and get the basket.
Kick ball on the inbound, 22-21. Mishawaka leads Lakeland with 4:11 to play in the first half. Fisher back in, Hoopengarner in there as well. Shively, Parker, and Jablonski for the Cavemen. Bontrager, Taylor, Yoder, Poole, Kent. Bontrager, another deep three, misses, and up high for the rebound, Nick Hoopengarner. 22-21 Mishawaka. Fisher with a little up fake, and he'll go up and bank it down. C.J. Fisher finding some moves, and C.J. in the last 3 games now is, what have I got him here? He is 5 for 5. He is 7 for 7 in the last 3 games from the floor.
Sean, he heard the pregame interview where his head coach said he didn't have any skill, and he said, "Coach, I've got offensive skill. Check out this head fake. I'm going up. I don't miss shots."
We'll take a quick timeout with Mishawaka leading by 3 in the first half. This is Mishawaka Cavemen basketball. Lakeland with 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the first half. Alice House is in for Lakeland, and inbounding is Taylor as Bontrager takes a seat. Poole in backcourt with his right hand, races up court, dishes down to Alice House, down to the corner to Kent. He will bring it inside and put it up and bounce it down.
Well, Kent's got some length that's giving Mishawaka some trouble. When he gets into the lane, he's kind of able to go up and over everybody with those long arms, and he was able to sneak one down there from about 4 feet away.
Mishawaka by one. Shively on the left wing. Hoopengarner top of the key. Dribbles once. Passes to Parker. Parker goes to the left and out to Shively. Shively's been hot from three. That's an air ball, though. And down to the corner. Poole tracks it down on the weak side. Out to Kent. Deep on the right wing. And to the corner it goes to Yoder. Alice House will swing it over to the left wing. The three is good for Colton Taylor.
Nobody stepped out and put a hand in his face, and he was able to knock down the wide open three-pointer.
Taylor with less than 23-point attempts, but he's a 47% shooter. That gives Lakeland a 2-point lead. Shively, though, from the left elbow. The jump shot good. They will count the basket, and away from the ball, we have a foul.
It's going to be on C.J. Fisher.
Coming on C.J. Fisher. Tied at 26, and that is the 6th tie of the first half as Fisher picks up his first. CJ named a National Merit Scholarship finalist. Was that earlier today or was that last night? Do you remember? Was it yesterday?
But that's impressive.
Yeah.
You got to be a smarty pants to make that happen.
Alice House to the free throw line. He's attempted just one free throw all season. Bends the knees, holds the ball down there, and it rattles in and out. Hoopengarner has the rebound. We're tied at 26. Shively to Parker. It over to the right wing to Jablonski. C.J. Fisher in the middle. Shively on the left wing, guarded closely by the Lakeland defender. Parker standing on the caveman on the far side of the floor. Shively starts the drive, and Colton Taylor will be whistled for the foul.
Wanted just to go back to the National Merit Scholar thing for CJ. He's a three-sport athlete,
yeah.
You know, and able to juggle the three sports and able to keep his grades to a place where he's able to get to that point. That's very impressive. His dad's a principal. He was a teacher. He's actually one of my mentors back when I was doing my student teaching many, many years ago. And so obviously education is very important in the Fisher family, but, you know, congratulations to him, all kidding aside, for being able to juggle academics and being a three-sport athlete.
Sam Shively bends the knees and earns the bonus as he hits the first. Shively has been hot the last couple of games. Didn't necessarily scorch it against Washington with 3, but he had 14 points last night. Now 9 here in the first half tonight to give Mishawaka a 1-point lead. What you were talking about was CJ, an all-state football player. He was earned all-conference recognition with the baseball team last year. As Shively hits the free throw, he's obviously not going to be an all-conference basketball player, but at the same time, I mean, the fact that he's able to excel in all these, just play all three sports, excel as well, and earn National Merit Scholar honors as well is pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
28-26, the lead is 2. Kent with a driving layup that misses. Parker with a rebound for Mishawaka. A 2-point caveman lead. 28-26 with 2:10 to play in the first half. Parker hands it off. Jablonski bounces it out to Shively on the right wing from the elbow. The jump shot hits the lip, but it bounces up and catches the backboard and falls down.
Tell you what, we have seen more shots by Sam Shively just kind of crawl in and just barely make it in, but hey, doesn't matter how they go in as long as they're going in.
Now foul back at the other end, the mid-range shot, Vince.
That's right.
The disappearing art of the mid-range jump shot, and Shively has found that shot from right there around the free throw line.
Donovan Snyder's coming into the game for Sam Shively, and Sam was close to the bench, and he heard that Snyder was coming in for him. He just looked at Coach and goes, why? I'm hot.
He picks up his second foul. They assess that to Shively, and the left-hander Tristan Ritchie at the free throw line hits the first one. That's team foul number 8. Makes it 30-27 with 1:52 to play in the first half. Ritchie's second free throw misses, and Rosebush yanks down his 5th rebound of the first half. Rosebush passes over to Donovan Snyder, who came in for Shively. Gives it up, then gets it back. Right wing Rosebush passes high to Snyder. Back to Rosebush and back to Snyder. Up fake and now to Rosebush, down to the corner on the right side. High skip pass to Snyder on the left. Jablonski covered by Kent to Snyder again on the left. Snyder with a left hand gets around the defender and passes over to Jablonski. C.J. Fisher back to Rosebush. Outside Jablonski. The 3 is off. The rebound and the tip in is good. They give that to Snyder, yep. Donovan Snyder.
Yep, he's the one that was able to tip it in. That was a nice job. Look, sometimes better be lucky than good.
That's right. The lead is 5 for the Cavemen. That's their biggest of the game. 56 seconds to play in the first half. A forced shot misses, hits the bottom of the rim, and C.J. Fisher with the rebound. Now Snyder from 12 feet away knocks it down.
He was surprised he got the ball at the top of the key. Was surprised nobody was on him. Figure, okay, I guess I'll drive.
A blocking foul is going to be called on Grant Jablonski, who looked from here like he had decent position, but Jablonski will be whistled for it.
I agree. He might have gotten there just a little late, but I can never understand where officials come from, whether it's a charge or a block. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Seems like, flip a coin and see what happens.
I agree. That was Jablonski's first. Team foul 9. Front end of the 1-and-1 misses, and Rosebush has another rebound. The lead is 7 for Mishawaka. 33 seconds to play in the first half. Jablonski has it poked away from him. Kent ends up with it, and did he dribble out of bounds?
Yeah, they're saying he stepped on the out-of-bounds line. But it was a nice steal. He just had a little trouble corralling it and controlling it. Ended up stepping on the out-of-bounds line, and Mishawaka's going to retain possession with 29.1 seconds to go. Probably hold to the last shot, I would think.
Rosebush standing and holding in backcourt. The lead is 7. Donovan Snyder over on the right to Rosebush. Rosebush dribbles once with the left hand and passes back over to Snyder. C.J. Fisher, right elbow, back outside to Snyder with 10 seconds to go in the half. Snyder holds, fakes a pass left, 6 seconds to go. Out to Fisher, dribbles once, back out to Snyder. Donovan Snyder drives, puts it up, it crawls around the rim, and it goes through at the buzzer at the end of the first half. Donovan Snyder hits his last 3 shots of the first half for all 6 of his points, and Mishawaka goes to the locker room leading 36-27.
I don't know if that's how Coach Aklinski drew that one up, but he'll definitely take a basket at the buzzer. And what a nice drive there by Snyder, able to curl one in at the very last second.
You know, this is something we've seen Jablonski do more of it. We're seeing Shively. I think everyone has fallen in love with the three-pointers over the last few years across basketball, regardless of level. And you see a lot of these guys just wanting to put up the threes, but you can, with athletes like Snyder and Jablonski, you can get to the basket and score. For a guy like Shively, they don't all have to be threes, and when he uses that mid-range game, he can score.
And tonight, Mishawaka's hitting 88% of their free throws. So when you drive to the basket, in my opinion, only good things happen. You're either going to get fouled or you're going to get a good look at the basket and come down with some points. So I'm a huge proponent in driving to the basket, and I tell my son all the time, dude, drive. You're a lot better chance of scoring points if you get closer to the basket and shoot free throws.
The lead is 9 for Mishawaka at halftime, 36-27. We'll take a timeout when we come back. Matt Embry will have the U.S. Sign Crafters halftime scoreboard show for you as the Mishawaka Education Foundation halftime show begins. And then
meet Josh.
Hi, everybody.
Josh is a high school basketball player, solid shooter, great teammate.
Hey, don't forget my tenacious D.
And he's my son.
Oh.
So, what does Josh do to be the best basketball player he can be?
I play tennis.
Studies show that student athletes here in Indiana who play more than one high school sport are more likely to excel. Tennis does more than improve Josh's conditioning. It gives him a fresh competitive outlet, reduces the risk of injury by cross-training, and introduces him to different coaching techniques and new friends.
Don't get me wrong, hoops are my first love. Tennis just gives me a little break.
So when the new season begins, Josh isn't burned out on basketball. He's eager to play, and you can see the difference in his game.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in Indiana, who do you meet? When you're working for a mover and shaker with strong ties to our community, who are they? When you encounter a group of people eager to roll up their sleeves, who are you most likely to work with? Answer. Men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Taking the initiative, being a good teammate, sacrificing personal glory for the greater good. These are qualities we expect of our leaders, and they're all being cultivated in the high schools right here in Indiana. Question. So where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer. High school sports.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in Indiana, who do you meet? Answer. Men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Question. So where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer. High school sports.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association. The debate about sports specialization by high school athletes continues. Some argue that high school athletes who play one sport all year long have a better chance of landing a lucrative pro contract. But that's simply not true. In fact, 30 of the 32 first-round picks in last year's NFL draft played more than one sport in high school. Of the 32 players drafted, 22 also participated in high school track and field. 19 also played basketball. Some also played baseball and lacrosse. What's the path to success for high school athletes here in Indiana, no matter what their goals might be? Study hard, always do your best, and if you can, play more than one sport in high school. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Honey, isn't it amazing?
What?
The sacrifice, the dedication, the grit. I mean, they really set an example, don't they?
Oh, well, no question. Today's high school athletes are truly special.
Not the athletes.
Well, who?
The officials.
Oh.
Today's student athletes are truly special. But there's something pretty great about the men and women who officiate their games, too. Like the way they're giving back to their communities. Officiating is a terrific way to stay in shape, meet new people, and stay connected to the game you love. But the biggest reason of all? We need more qualified high school officials here in Indiana. And without them, the rest of us would have a whole lot less to cheer about. High school games need officials. High school sports need you.
Great call, Rob!
Yeah!
Interested in becoming a licensed high school official? Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn more and begin the application process.
Here at MHS, we offer a variety of different art classes like drawing, painting, ceramics, graphic design, and more. The classes are being taught by award-winning teachers and involve award-winning students. Thanks to the MEF and other donations to the art department, students have new computers, drawing desks, and art supplies. Sign up for classes and express your creativity today.
My kids love science and they love reading. Why not bring those two together for them? One day, the girl has a wonderful idea. She is going to make the most magnificent thing. So when I read them the book, that inspires those ideas. And then they bring those ideas alive when we do those hands-on and inquiry-based activities. I'm holding the sun. So currently we had a big push into STEM with our corporation, which was amazing. But now we're looking into expanding our STEM curriculum.
Kids that are reluctant, they're reluctant readers or writers, are so excited about picking up a book about one of the subjects that we're studying or writing in their scientist notebook. I've seen grades come up and it wasn't the instruction that I gave them in reading, it was because they were picking up those books on the side and writing stories on the side. Even at home at night, writing about what they learned, a little bit more about weather or a little bit more about the life cycle of a butterfly or an insect. And then take a picture. Good job. So just looking at the outside of it like that, okay, does it look like it has all those different colors?
Their nonfiction reading is just amazing. They want to read more, they want to learn more about this. So when you can do reading workshop, writing workshop, and even like the science workshop, it just makes it all happen. So those connections just all come together naturally for the kids. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for that mastery, that aha moment, and that's what you want. That's that moment that makes you feel like we are there. And those kids that are so happy to come every day to school that just can't wait. And when they are just so excited, their learning is going beyond the classroom. And so when you have a child that maybe was hesitant about science or hesitant about reading, and now they can't get enough, that's when I have achieved what I wanted to achieve. And that just makes you feel good that these kids are going beyond just the 8:30 to 3 o'clock time frame too. And I just love it. You know that they're really learning and they're excited about their learning.
We're reading Snowflake Bentley, and the students have used microscopes to go outside and look at snowflakes, just like he did in the book. Students are using stick bots to make weather forecasts. So it's set up so they have a green screen and they will have a scene behind them. They're going to be on location, whether it's out somewhere where it's snowing or it's cloudy or it's on a beach. They're going to give their weather forecast using the stick bots, using stop motion animation. We also received different kits from the Civil Air Patrol. The other one that goes along with our weather unit is the weather station. They mounted it outside, and then we have a display in here that we connected to an app so all the kids can follow the weather, the wind speed, the wind direction, the temperature on their iPads. On a limited budget, you have to be very crafty and creative. So we took old library book stands and construction paper, and the kids engineered.
Grant Jablonski, relatively quiet in the first half with 3 points, down to the baseline, forces a shot up, won't go. Rebound saved by Rosebush, loose ball on the floor. Rosebush ends up with it and is able to bank it down.
Rosebush cleaning up the dirt underneath the basket. Great job picking up the ball. Oh my.
Spin move inside and a duck under by Bontrager. He missed the shot, and then afterwards, on the rebound, a foul is called on Colton Taylor.
There's a lot going on there. Sorry, it was mid-sentence, but he went up and underneath the basket, and he tossed it up, and it went probably twice as high as the top of the backboard. I thought it was going to go in, and that would have been a pretty impressive shot, but ended up not going in. Cavemen retained possession.
Well, he got a little deep, and he didn't have any choice with a defender there. It's a 9-point Mishawaka lead with 7:05 to play. The Rossini's Pizza third quarter just underway in the second half. Snyder hands it off to Rosebush. Donovan Snyder, who got the last basket of the first half. Left wing Shively. A screen up top by Hoopengarner. Jablonski shoots over it, and air ball. Rebound saved, inbound twice, and finally it's into the hands of Lakeland. Bontrager goes right, passes back to his left to Miller. Coming into the lane is Taylor. He'll pass it outside and off the hands of Poole. It goes careening out of bounds on the far side of the floor.
I believe the kids call that a nutmeg between the wickets, if you will. No,
I believe it.
It was a low pass there, went right between the legs of Poole and out of bounds.
38-29 Mishawaka, 6:25 to go in the Rossini's Pizza third. Jablonski spots an opening, drives all the way, and lays it in.
Well, if you're going to give him his right, and he's a right-handed dribbler, why not take it to the hole?
40-29. The lead is 11 for the Cavemen. Poole takes it inside, passes back outside, and from the bench, Nick Burlingame wants a timeout for Lakeland. 6:08 to play in the Rossini's Pizza third quarter. It's Mishawaka 40, Lakeland 29. We'll take a full minute timeout on the Mishawaka Network and WSBT.
We will never.
Ball out of the timeout. 6:05 to play in the Rossini's Pizza third. Cut down low. Bontrager on the feed, lays it in.
Yeah, nice little move there by Bontrager, able to lose the defense in the man-to-man and get underneath for a look for a layup.
Shively on the right wing. We don't have heights listed for these guys, but Bontrager right around 6'2", 6'3", about the same as Hoopengarner, who's listed at 6'3". Snyder right wing buries the three-pointer.
Man, he down that one like he does it all the time. Just caught it, shot it right from the wing. Very nice job by Snyder.
He hit 2 out of 3 three-pointers a few nights ago against Washington. This three-pointer gives Mishawaka a 12-point lead with 5:22 to play in the Rossini's Pizza third. Inside Yoder. Outside it goes to Miller, and his three splashes the nylon.
I'll tell you what, for a big man, he's got a nice-looking shot from beyond the arc. I mean, it's not the first time he's shot a three here tonight, but that was pretty looking.
The lead back down to 9 as the teams trade threes. Hoopengarner on the right block with Miller there on his hip. Snyder comes into the lane with the left hand, stripped out of his hands, and Lakeland ends up with a loose ball. Bontrager has it. Hoopengarner from behind is going to be called for the reach, trying to get it away from him.
I like the aggressiveness by Hoopengarner in transition, trying to get a hand in on the dribbler, but a little too much. Got called for the foul.
And that prompts Ron Heklinski to take a timeout. 43-34, about midway through the Rossini's Pizza third quarter on WSBT.
Gulfstream Coach is looking for experienced people for the electrical and slide-outs department.
With the basketball out of the timeout. Down low, Miller has his shot deflected by Hoopengarner. Rosebush with his 8th rebound. Mishawaka by 9 with 4:35 to play in the Rossini's Pizza third. Down to the right corner. Grant Jablonski's three is a little bit strong, and Poole with the rebound for Lakeland. Jablonski's three-pointer in the first half, just the third he's made in his last nearly 20 attempts, and there's a steal by Hoopengarner on the baseline. Jablonski with a defender on his hip, gets it to front court, and passes off to Shively with 4:08 to play in the Rossini's Pizza third. 43 for Mishawaka, 34 for Lakeland. Down to the right block, Hoopengarner gets it down to the left corner for Snyder. It is knocked out of bounds by a Lakeland defender.
I like how aggressive Hoopengarner's been, even on the defensive end there. Doing a good job of getting his hands in the passing lane and making guys think twice about putting it in his direction.
He's been a lot more aggressive, especially tonight, but even in just the last couple of games, we've seen a lot more of it. He doesn't have near the girth of this guy he's going against tonight.
No.
probably outweighed, what do you think, by at least 40 pounds or so?
At least. Yeah, at least.
A drive by Jablonski. Hit hard as he misses. Shively with the rebound, and he'll pass it outside.
Wow. Jablonski got nailed from behind, ended up hitting the deck as well. No call.
He kind of jackknifed with his football coach, Keith Kinder, sitting right over there behind where that play was. And traveling is called on A.J. Rosebush as he collides outside with another player. Fisher comes in. Rosebush sits down. 3:32 to play in the Rossini's Pizza third quarter. Mishawaka leads Lakeland 43-34. Jablonski takes a seat. Yoder takes the inbound for Lakeland on the far side of the floor. Passes to the left wing to Poole, who looks inside and backs it out. Yoder to Miller on the left wing. Bontrager has it deflected, and over and back is going to be called on Bontrager. I have to agree with what I think Coach Burlingame is saying. Wasn't that tipped by Devon Parker?
It actually wasn't.
Okay.
I had a little bit better of an angle. It went off of Bontrager, and then it went off of his face.
Okay.
And then back. I didn't see it hit a Mishawaka player. He took his eye off the ball when the ball was coming to him, and so he didn't catch it very well.
All right. I'll buy it, but Nick Burlingame still getting his money's worth, trying to get his explanation.
Oh, absolutely.
Sam Shively, the jumper from the left doesn't go. Cole Miller has the rebound. Up court it goes to Kent on the left. Kent with Parker in front of him. Pulls up from 12. It won't go. Rebound, Alex Boggs. Boggs pulls down the board. Didn't play the last couple games. Last night against John Glenn, or earlier in the week against Washington. Brayshawn White had played more. Brayshawn had 8 rebounds last night, but again, he's not here today due to a family issue. Handoff outside, Donovan Snyder. Left side, and he'll kick it back out between the circles to Sam Shively. 2:23 to play in the Rossini's Pizza third. Shively hands it off to Parker. Switches hands and goes over to the left. Middle of the lane, stops and a whistle and a double dribble.
I'm a little confused by that call. It looked a little bit like he lost his dribble and then came back to the dribble. But it looked like he lost possession of the dribble.
That's right.
I don't think that's a double
I thought it was
dribble.
hit over there, so yeah, I don't know. 43-34 with 2:03 to play in the Rossini's Pizza third. Miller with a big pivot as he keeps it with his left foot, and as he dips up and under and lays it in.
He's got some nice little finesse moves down there on the block. I'm fairly impressed for it.
The big guy's got the finesse, and Hoopengarner with some power moves that we've seen tonight.
Absolutely.
At the other side. Minute 43 to play in the Rossini's third.
It's kind of a little up and under like Akeem Olajuwon, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was nice. I like it.
43-36, Mishawaka leads. Shively with a basketball outside to Parker. Ball fake left by C.J. Fisher and back to the right wing. Shively, can he get past Bontrager? It's poked away from him. Boggs is right there, though, on the spot, picks up the loose ball and lays it in.
Well, once again, it's better to be lucky than good, because that should have been a turnover for Mishawaka. Ended up being 2 points.
Step back three didn't go for Poole. Shively corralled the ping-ponging loose ball, his 4th board of the ball game, with Mishawaka leading by 9 with now a minute to play in the Rossini's Pizza third. Kicked off Shively's foot. Bontrager has the basketball for Lakeland. The Lakers trail Mishawaka by 9. Parker denying the pass to Yoder, punches it out of bounds into the Laker bench. Yoder and Poole sit down as House and Colton Isaacs both come in for Lakeland. 45-36 Mishawaka, 51.1 seconds to play in the Rossini's Pizza third quarter. House bounces it off to Kent on the right wing. Kent passes high to Miller. He gets tripled over there. Passes back outside to Kent. Kent looks right, passes left. Bontrager fending off Fisher with an elbow. Puts up the 3. Won't go. Foul on the rebound.
Judging by facial expressions, looks like it's going to be on Kent. Oh, I would be wrong. It's going to be on Brayton.
Brayton whistled for his first. There is 29.8 seconds to play in the Rossini's Pizza third quarter. Inbound to Kent on the left wing for Lakeland. Guarded by Donovan Snyder. Puts it on the floor. Right hand. Drives through the lane. The finger roll is good and a foul as well.
Well, and that's where that length comes into play. He was able to go up and over the entire Mishawaka defense. I think they're going to end up calling the foul on C.J. Fisher, but he was just able to stretch that ball up and over the top and just finger roll it in and draw the foul.
It's Fisher's second. Cole Miller sits down. Jace Wriggling comes in. Kent kind of took a shot as he was fouled and goes to the line. Kent, just a sophomore. One of their longest, most athletic players. The three-point play gives him 10 after he scored 7 in the first half. The lead suddenly cut to 6 for Mishawaka. Boggs up top, hands it off to Donovan Snyder with 10 to play in the Rossini's third. Snyder drives and draws the foul as his layup misses.
Well, we talk about, you know, how long and athletic Kent is. His #1 priority in the offseason is going to hit the weight room. He needs to put some bulk onto that frame, because if he does, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the next 2 years.
He averages 7.7 points. He and Bontrager, both sophomores, and Bontrager, their leading scorer, at 16.4 per game. Snyder, on his first free throw attempt of the night, misses. He's a 75% foul shooter. He has 9 points tonight with another free throw coming and 8.9 seconds to play in the Rossini's Pizza third quarter. He hits the second and is in double fingers. He joins Sam Shively, who has 12 for the Cavemen. The lead is 7, 46-39. 6 seconds to play in the Rossini's Pizza third. Bontrager with a left hand, bringing it up for Lakeland, and he's going to be called for an offensive foul, and C.J. Fisher pumping his fist as he gets knocked down and draws the foul on Bontrager.
Well, when you're an all-conference rover for the football team, you're not afraid of contact.
That's right.
And, you know, CJ is definitely giving up 30 pounds, 20 to 30 pounds to Bontrager, and he took a shot to the chest. I mean, that took some guts to sit in there on that one.
Inbound, Devon Parker heaves it all the way, and it will miss. And by the way, I saw at the end of the first overtime last night, Mishawaka and John Glenn, there was a heave by Glenn that from about three-quarter court that had it gone would have beaten Mishawaka, and it hit the rim and bounced off to go to the second overtime. Mishawaka leads by 7 at the end of the Rossini's Pizza third. Back after this on WSBT.
Meet Josh.
Hi, everybody.
Josh is a high school basketball player, solid shooter, great teammate.
Hey, don't forget my tenacious D.
And he's my son.
Oh.
So, what does Josh do to be the best basketball player he can be?
I play tennis.
Studies show that student athletes here in Indiana who play more than one high school sport are more likely to excel. Tennis does more than improve Josh's conditioning. It gives him a fresh competitive outlet, reduces the risk of injury by cross-training, and introduces him to different coaching techniques and new friends.
Don't get me wrong, hoops are my first love. Tennis just gives me a little break.
So when the new season begins, Josh isn't burned out on basketball. He's eager to play, and you can see the difference in his game.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Heading to the fourth quarter, Mishawaka leads Lakeland 46-39. Lakeland actually scored out Mishawaka 12-10 in the third quarter. Cavemen have the basketball. Parker, a drive from the right, center basket and a foul.
Yeah, nice drive there by Parker. Able to get the contact because the feet weren't set by the defender, and he was able to drop one for the three-point play potentially.
Kalen Kent for Lakeland. That's his first. Devon Parker to the free throw line. He's 8 out of 13 at the line this season. He puts it up and buries it to convert the three-point play. He missed his only free throw attempt last night. He cashes that one in there to make it a 10-point Mishawaka lead. Bontrager, slow dribble with the left hand. C.J. Fisher, their best defender, out on him. Over to the right, inside Miller, spins and puts it up, and it will bounce off the glass, and a foul coming. Looks like on Hoopengarner. It's the third on Hoopengarner.
Well, again, a nice little spin move down there on the block by Miller. Able to draw the foul and go to the free throw line.
That's another thing that you don't see nearly as much of as Miller misses the free throw, is just that drop step or that pure pivot in there, because everyone plays away and faces the basket most of the time these days. But that's some nice post moves by the big man, but he misses both free throws. Kent, though, with the offensive rebound and the putback.
Give me a good post player and give me somebody who wants to drive, and I'll be pretty successful as a coach.
Bounce pass, last touched by Mishawaka. Hoopengarner trying to bounce it down to the back door, but it goes bouncing out of bounds. The lead is 8 for the Cavemen with 7:08 to play in the fourth quarter. Again, both of these teams played last night. Lakeland has dropped 4 in a row. Mishawaka won in double overtime last night. Bontrager down low with an easy put in.
Well, and Bontrager can be successful down there on the block as well, because like you said, he's 6'2", 6'3" in that neighborhood. He's got good size to him for a sophomore. And I think he might fall in love with the three-pointer a little too much at times.
Mishawaka had a double-digit lead just a moment ago. Left elbow jump shot, no good. Too strong by Shively, and Bontrager with the rebound for the Lakers. 49-43 Mishawaka crossover and a drive. A left-hander won't go for Bontrager. Then he gets his own rebound, and he'll get the basket and a foul as well.
Well, and he's kind of putting his team on his back right now and doing a great job of it. And they're going to call that one on Hoopengarner. That's going to be his fourth, so I'd expect a sub here for him pretty quickly.
Comes with 6:26 to play, and it's just a 4-point game right now. Bontrager misses the free throw. Fisher with the rebound for the Cavemen. Mishawaka's gone quiet from the floor. Jablonski outside to Fisher. Now Shively and back to Jablonski. 49-45 Cavemen. Hoopengarner on the left. Stays in, at least for now. Shively gives it up to Hoopengarner. Drives in. Passes back outside. Fisher on the right to Jablonski. Just under 6 minutes to play. Poole as Jablonski goes left off the screen. Down to the corner and back outside to Fisher. Fisher finds Parker. And then Shively on the right wing. Driving around. Bontrager draws the foul on Lakeland's best player, and he'll pick up his fourth with 5:45 remaining.
And that's huge with just under 6 minutes to go, where Lakeland's best player and the guy who I just mentioned is putting his team on his back offensively. To get 4 fouls on him is huge, and looks like he's going to go to the bench.
He takes a seat. Their leading scorer at 16.4 a game. He has 14 tonight, including 6 here in the second half. Inbound Parker, back to Shively in the corner. Up fake, Mishawaka leads 49-45. Shively going left to Fisher up top, and that was just a 15 foul, by the way. So obviously no free throws, both teams with 5. Parker over to the left wing, A.J. Rosebush, who just came back in. with Hoopengarner sitting down. Jablonski on the right, down on the baseline. Passes back inside of the wing to Rosebush. Fisher has it knocked away from him. Yoder has it. Jablonski and Fisher both over there trying to get their hands on it, and finally a foul is going to be called on Grant Jablonski.
Well, the Lakeland coaching staff was screaming for a foul there because both, Jablonski and Fisher were both in there fighting for the ball, getting dirty on the floor, and finally one gets called.
Yoder did a good job of fending them off and not letting them get their hands anywhere near able to secure the basketball. Still a 4-point Mishawaka lead, 49-45 with just under 5 to play in the fourth quarter. A drive and a kick outside. Pull from the wing. Hard off the iron. The rebound down to Devon Parker. Parker for Mishawaka with the basketball as Snyder joins Alex Boggs at the scorer's table. Ready to come in at the next opportunity. Rosebush on the left wing. Looks inside, finds Shively. He decides on a three-pointer. It rattles off. The rebound is run down on the baseline by Miller. A deflected ball as the pass goes high, out of bounds in front of the Cavemen band. As Parker got his hand on it in front of Colton Taylor, it's going to remain Lakeland basketball. Fisher and Jablonski sit down as Boggs and Snyder come in. 49-45, a 4-point lead for Mishawaka with 4:25 remaining. Yoder with the basketball, stops his dribble out on the right wing, skipped over the left wing. Up top, Kent takes the three. It catches the rim. It hit 4 times, and it falls through, and it's just a 1-point game, 49-48 Mishawaka. Shively stops his dribble on the right wing. Spins and finds Donovan Snyder. Snyder is guarded by Poole. It's knocked away from him. Down to the deck. They dive for it. It's picked up by Lakeland. Outside, Kent coming down the baseline. Blocked by Boggs. And the rebound taken by Snyder.
Wow, that was a nice block by Boggs.
A little soft on the dribble and a steal by Lakeland, and it's thrown away. 2 opportunities by the Lakers, and Mishawaka denies both.
Well, Mishawaka kind of got lucky there on that one because Poole had a wide open layup there in transition and wasn't able to corral the pass and ends up going out of bounds.
Well, and even bigger, Bontrager sat for 2 minutes, and Mishawaka was unable to score through that 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And Lakeland was able to cut into the lead and get it all the way down to 1.
Yep, absolutely. They needed to take advantage of the fact that he was on the bench, and they didn't do it.
Shively off the screen, goes right, stops into Boggs, over Bontrager, off the window and down.
Huge basket there by Boggs, especially considering Bontrager's in there with 4 fouls, and he didn't shy away from that shot.
The lead is 3 for Mishawaka with 3:08 remaining here in the fourth quarter. Kent loses the handle. Shively ends up with it for Mishawaka. The Cavemen with a 3-point lead. Rosebush drives all the way down, and the runner goes home.
Oh, what a nice little move there by Rosebush, kind of with the up and under layup there to avoid contact.
Deep three, Bontrager buries it from outside. He has 17, and it's just a 2-point lead once again, and quickly a timeout is taken. 53-51 as Bontrager drops the bomb from deep with 2:46 to play in the fourth quarter. We'll take a timeout on WSBT.
Answer me this. What could be better than beef over?
And Parker for Mishawaka. It is Poole, Yoder, Taylor, Bontrager, and Miller for Lakeland. Mishawaka has a 2-point lead, 53-51, with 2:43 to play here in the ball game. And remember, Mishawaka went to double overtime before beating John Glenn last night in an NIC matchup. Snyder on the outside, and they had a double-digit lead in that one that got away. They led by double figures earlier in the third quarter. Boggs trying to drive through the lane, kicks it off his foot, and out of bounds. It's Lakeland basketball.
No, he had a clear lane to the basket, too. If he could have controlled that dribble, man, it was an easy two-pointer, and it would have made this a two-possession ball game.
Boggs takes a seat. Hoopengarner comes back in. Hoopengarner picked up his 4th foul with 6:26 to play, so he sat for 4:02 rather. Rosebush is going to play right on the hip of Bontrager, at least try to. Bontrager pushes away to free himself up. Mishawaka leads by 2. Yoder on the left wing. Bontrager triple teamed around top of the key. Miller and traveling call.
Well, it almost seemed like nobody wanted the basketball for Lakeland. If Bontrager wasn't going to take the shot, nobody was going to, and I think Miller was surprised to get it at the top of the key. He ended up shuffling his feet, and the travel was called.
We have exactly 2 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter, with Mishawaka leading 53-51. Shively awkwardly able to keep his pivot foot and stay up after some contact over there. Now Shively coming around a defender, leaves the layup short. Rosebush, though, runs the rebound down, and Ron Heklinski wants a timeout. Both of these teams just kind of playing helter-skelter at each end of the floor, Vince.
Yeah, there's no question. It's, you know, you're getting to the end of the game here, and you want to relax and be in control, and I don't think either one of these teams is that right now.
You're exactly right. We'll go ahead and keep it right here. 53-51, and what is Lakeland shooting right now?
They're shooting 54%.
Really?
But they're also shooting 54% from 3.
Yeah.
And that's what's keeping them into this ball game.
And most of the threes have gone to Bontrager, who has, by my count, I think 3 of them. Is that right?
He's got 3. Kent has 2. Miller has 1, and Taylor has 1. So they're 7 of 13 from 3, while Mishawaka's only 2 of 10.
So the foul check, Nick Hoopengarner has 4 for Mishawaka. He's in the game. And Bontrager has 4 for Lakeland. Colton Taylor has 3 for Lakeland. And nobody for Mishawaka with 3.
You got a slew of guys with 2, but with 1:43 left, you don't have to worry about that.
We have seen some scoring peaks and valleys. Again, we weren't at John Glenn last night, but just kind of how this has played out sounds fairly similar to what happened last night before the Cavemen finally won in double overtime.
Well, and I'm sure that these guys, both teams, since they both played last night, and Mishawaka in double overtime, you know, finding their legs this late in the game is going to be tough.
53-51, Mishawaka. Sam Shively has the inbound. Shively thought about a drive with Poole right there. Gives it to Rosebush. Standing on the block M near midcourt inside the circle. Now comes over to the left wing. Jablonski is hounded by the taller Bontrager, not wanting to let him get open. Minute 20 to play in regulation. 53-51 Cavemen. Rosebush has it as Mishawaka just trying to use as much clock as possible. Rosebush has Poole collide with him a little bit. Jablonski has it, loses the handle, gets it back. And with a minute 3 to play, Donovan Snyder has it, guarded by the long Colin Kent. Jablonski starts to drive from the outside, bounces it down to the baseline. A kick ball. It's going to stay with Mishawaka as it goes bouncing out of bounds with 52.3 to play.
Well, obviously Lakeland's going to try to press the matter here, but there's no need for Mishawaka to do it. They've got the lead, but if they need to score on this possession, if they're going to give it back. So, you know, they're doing a good job of tossing it around and keeping it out of the hands of Lakeland, but now they're going to press the issue and probably foul.
After the inbound, Grant Jablonski is fouled out near midcourt by Colton Taylor. That'll be the 4th on Taylor. Comes with 47 seconds to play.
And that's just the 6th foul, the 6th team foul for both teams. So next foul for either team, we're going to be shooting free throws.
Donovan Snyder to key it in. Passes to backcourt to Sam Shively. 45 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Mishawaka by 2. Shively with a touch foul is going to go to the free throw line. That one I didn't even see.
No.
It looks like Taylor just fouled out. Nope, they're going to call Yoder.
Well, I think we talked about this the other day. Depending on what group of officials you have, when it gets to this point in the game, you know one team is probably trying to foul. Do you call the touch fouls or do you let it play out a little bit? I mean, we've seen it both ways. We've seen where guys almost had to get mugged before a foul is called, and then right here where he got blown on and foul.
Exactly. Sam Shively, front end of the 1-and-1 is good. First point for Shively in the second half. He scored 12 in the first 16 minutes of the game. The 75% free throw shooter has made all 5 of his attempts tonight. The first one gives Mishawaka a 3-point lead with 40.6 seconds remaining. Second one, good as well. Money for Shively at the foul line, 55-51. Mishawaka leads. Bontrager for Lakeland, and now another touch foul is going to be called.
Well, and obviously Mishawaka's not trying to foul here. I mean, they just kind of bumped into each other, and apparently that's a foul when there's less than a minute to go.
It's just what you were talking about. It's a little strange that we're seeing these now, because we've seen ball handlers fend off with forearms all night long, and all of a sudden they're calling this stuff on both sides of the floor. Bontrager's free throw good. He now has 18 points. He had missed a pair of free throws earlier.
Yeah, he's 1 for 4 right now from the free throw line.
Next one up, it bounces around the rim and down. Makes it a 2-point game. Rosebush with a basketball. And they're just going to gift fouls the rest of the night, apparently.
Well, I think, you know, the Lakeland bench is going crazy. Foul, foul him. So finally, when they even got close to him, they give him the foul because the coach wanted, I guess.
Well, that's, I mean, essentially what it looked like.
Right.
Rosebush to the free throw line, where he shoots 81%. He's 3 out of 3 tonight. Rattles it down and has 10 points.
Well, and as a team right now, Mishawaka shooting 12 of 14 for 86% from the free throw line. And obviously no more important than down the stretch where you want to hit your free throws.
The first free throw made it a 3-point game with 30.8 seconds remaining. The second one splashes the nylon as well. AJ with 11 points, 5 of them at the free throw line after going 6 for 6 at the line in the double overtime win last night. So it's a 4-point game. Lakeland takes the inbound. Yoder in backcourt, sprints over near his coach Nick Burlingame on the sideline, and they call timeout with 28.2 seconds to play. Mishawaka 57, Lakeland 53. This is Cavemen basketball on 96.1 WSBT, the sports leader.
Go Irish! LaGrange Country Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram will sell all new vehicles and employ.
Mishawaka leads Lakeland 57-53 with 28.2 seconds to play. Braden Bontrager on the near sideline, right to the left of the scorer's table. Ready to toss it in. He'll key it in backcourt to Yoder. 27 seconds on the clock. Mishawaka by 4. Yoder bounces it off. Miller looks inside. Rosebush denies the pass to Bontrager. It bounces back outside, and Yoder has it. Yoder to Bontrager. Double team. Top of the key to Yoder. Left wing, Kent puts up the 3. It misses. Gets his own rebound at the free throw line. Has it blocked by Parker. Poole finally picks up the loose ball. Puts it up and in with 5.5 seconds remaining, and Mishawaka leading by 2.
And Lakeland is going to take an additional timeout.
This is a full,
yep.
So we'll take one as well. 57-55 Mishawaka with 5.5 seconds to play on WSBT.
U.S. Sign Crafters.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in Indiana, who do you meet? Answer. Men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Question: so where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer: high school sports.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Mate.
5.5 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Mishawaka to inbound, leading Lakeland 57-55. Rosebush, Hoopengarner, Snyder, Shively, and Jablonski for the Cavemen. Bontrager to guard the inbound. Shively takes it. A second and a half comes off the clock. Shively is fouled by Braden Yoder. Sends Sam to the free throw line. He has a team high 14 points, one of 3 different Cavemen in double figures, along with A.J. Rosebush and Donovan Snyder.
Looks like they're going to add some time back onto the clock. Half a second. So it reads 4 seconds, and now it reads 4.5.
Not going to say names. I'm not going to say names. Sam Shively.
You just said Sam Shively.
To the free throw line. You're going to tell me that an official can see that without going to a replay and determine how much time should be on the clock?
Of course, half a second. They're eagle-eyed, man.
Shively, front end of the 1-and-1 is good. Well, and this is why you can't have instant replay in high school.
Oh.
We were talking about this last night.
Yeah.
Because you cannot let your own subjective opinion overrule fact, and I think it would happen too often. Shively hit the front end to make it a 3-point game with 4.5 seconds remaining. He hits the lip, though, and misses. Bontrager with the rebound. Their best 3-point shooter will put it up at the buzzer. It's an air ball, and Mishawaka holds on to win 58-55. They had a chance. They had it in the hands of the man they wanted to have it. Bontrager misses, though, and the Cavemen pull off another narrow one, 58-55.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It was in the hands of the guy they wanted to have it, and he had a decent look at it. And actually, they probably could have called a foul on Sam Shively. He ran right through a potential screen that was set by a Lakeland player, but they let the last play out, which I think was the right call, and ended up not even being close.
So a 3-point win for Mishawaka, a narrow one, and again, both teams playing last night. Mishawaka in double overtime. Neither one of them, I think, had as much energy as they would have liked to have tonight. There wasn't a huge crowd here to kind of spur some home energy, but good for Mishawaka. They're able to pull it off, take the victory. They have 2 games to go now in the regular season, including senior night Tuesday when they host Concord.
Well, you know, like you said, a victory's a victory. They'll take it. I'm sure there's plenty of learning moments that you can take from this game, but it's a lot easier to point those out when you got one in the win column. So congratulations to Mishawaka, and we'll be back on Tuesday, right?
That's right. So we'll take a timeout and back to begin the Sonic Drive-In post-game show on 96.1 WSBT and the Mishawaka Network.
Troyer Carpet.